Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. It's Friday.
It is Friday, and we've got a guest coming up here in just a short while. This is National Recovery Month, and we're going to talk with Dr. William Morrone, and I'm actually excited to visit with him. This is something that there are a lot of people that struggle and suffer, and this whole month is kind of set aside to offer help, and we're going to do what we can today to talk about what we can do to help. Also, it had to happen someday, Heidi.
What's that?
In Europe, they've now have the very first outpatient addiction treatment program for problemed video gamers.
Well, you knew that was coming.
I can't get to level 52. Wait, what level are you on Candy Crush again?
I don't know. But it's not like I don't go outside
No,
and I
know.
don't live a life. If I have some downtime, I'll play it while I'm waiting for you to get done dinking around with whatever you're dinking around
Me?
with so that I can get back to working.
No.
But I've seen people that won't go outside for days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's if it's turning into that, maybe you got a problem. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, now they've maybe got a
When
solution.
it's on my phone, it is a problem, Candy
know.
Crush. If it's at my disposal, I've put it on like while I'm waiting for you in a parking lot because you're inside gabbing for 4 hours, and
Me?
so I have to have something to do in the car.
Yeah.
And then I can't take it off forever, and then I at least have enough wits about me to realize, oh my gosh, I have been playing this for hours, and I have to delete it. If I was truly addicted, I would not be able to take that step. So
There you go. Well, thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
what is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, September the 9th. That means today is 9/9. I like that. I like it when it's, the
I know you
two in a
do.
row. I
You're
don't know
weird.
why. I'm just weird like that. Care Bear Share Your Care Day today. When you were a kid, do you remember the Care Bears? Did you have a Care Bear as a young girl, Heidi?
I had several Care Bears.
I did not have any Care Bears, but I remember them, and I used to think, oh, that's special. They're little Care Bears. They're bears that care.
I liked
International.
them. I loved the Care Bears.
Heidi will probably celebrate this one today. International Buy a Priest a Beer Day. That's just funny that they have a day for that.
That is cool.
Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorders Day today. I don't know if I got any of that right. Opposite Day today. Wonderful Weirdos Day today. Banana Day today. And Stand Up to Cancer Day today. So
There you
all
go.
of those things going on.
Busy day.
It is a busy day. Stand Up to Cancer. I believe there's an event with stand-up comedians that do a fundraiser, Stand Up to Cancer. I think that's where that comes from. I wonder if that's going to be televised because I've seen it. I'm almost positive that's the one that I've seen in the past. It was funny. Anyway, today's a Friday, the 9th day of September.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business. If it's done right, you can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. China's ping pong champion has a girlfriend.
Oh, I didn't know they still did ping pong championships.
China's Wang Hao is the reigning ping pong world champion with 2 Olympic silver medals under his ping pong belt. You might say he had it all, except for a girlfriend. Chinese officially banned him. He's a 25-year-old. They banned him from dating. Can you imagine this?
No.
Because that's what they do in communist countries, apparently. But that's all changed now as a national team permitted his relationship with former national teammate, 23-year-old Peng. I don't know how to say her name.
Just call her Wang's Ho.
Would you stop it? No. His name is Wang Ho. Would you stop, Heidi? Peng's coach, I'm not going to try that either, said both of them are old enough and it's normal. Strict control of athletes' personal lives is common in China's rigid state-run sporting system because that's what they do in communist countries. Under the watchful eye of team officials, star athletes are often banned from dating or banned from getting married until they reach a certain age. They are restricted in endorsement contracts and sometimes have a large percentage of their actual winnings taken away from them to, contribute to other things. Because that's what they do in communist countries.
I see.
Did I mention that that's what they do in communist countries?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You did.
All right. So, and again, if you're a big fan of communism, that's your thing. I'm not. I kind of like the freedoms we have. It's pretty cool. Wouldn't
Our
you say?
government still takes a huge chunk of our
They do.
income
They-
to put towards other things.
They call it taxes.
Yeah.
And
It's just a different name.
there you go. Well, I think it's really interesting, though. This kid is 25. I should say kid. He's an adult. But this young man, 25, finally able to date, and he dates another ping pong player that was on the team. She was one of the national teammates. She's 23. Imagine if these two get married and have kids. That kid is going to be born playing ping pong. Mm-hmm. I mean, wouldn't that just be crazy to be the son or daughter of some two world champion ping pong players? Imagine the weight of the world in that part of the world. Their expectations on you, especially if you grow up and don't like ping pong. It's really not for me. I want to be a radio announcer.
Like I said, I didn't even know there still was a ping pong
There
championship,
is.
so
It's
it
a big
must
deal.
not be that
it's
widely.
It's huge. It's amazingly big. Yeah.
Huh.
All right. Coming up, we've got something else. And this one here, it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. There's really no talking your way out of a drunk driving arrest. And 49-year-old Greenfield, Wisconsin man wasn't helping himself when he got pulled over. First of all, he almost hit a squad car. That's never a good start. He was pulled over by the Waterford police, and then they asked what he had to drink. He said, "What didn't I have?" That's what he said.
Wow.
Next,
That's one way to get a quick ride to jail.
Then he went on a curse-filled tirade regarding the police officers. He was reminded that in Waterford, he was in Waterford, but the man responded by saying, "Franklin cops aren't any better." So he clearly didn't even know where he was. They told him that, he kept making references to other cops, like the Oak Creek cops. And again, that's
He has
not...
a lot of run-in with cops.
He apparently has had... This is not his first rodeo. Although he thought he was in a rodeo. He was, smashing into things and whatnot. Anyway, his blood alcohol level was 0.18 on the breath test, so...
That's not as bad as some of them.
No, we just heard about someone that was like 0.3 or something.
0.3, 0.4.
Yeah, so this guy... I'm not trying to say that, he's a, good kid by any means,
No,
because what he
no.
did was wrong. Don't ever drink and drive. It's always bad. Coming up, we're going to talk about how does your car make you feel when you're not driving it? It's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Sometimes the moment of Doug goes to a person for something dumb they do, but this one gets to go to a whole company survey. Do you own a Toyota? They want to know how comfortable you feel when you're not in your Toyota. This is seriously part of a customer survey. They asked Toyota owners to indicate their impression of their Toyota vehicle in performance, in handling, in the interior comfort, and the exterior comfort and interior styling. And there were a lot of questions on the exterior comfort. And
I think they just mean, is it visually appealing?
No,
Something was clearly lost in translation.
What they really meant was, how do you feel about owning your Toyota when you're not in your Toyota? I mean, do you look forward to getting back into your Toyota? Are you excited that you own a Toyota? I think that's really kind of funny.
Something was lost in translation there. I think they meant visually appealing.
You think so?
Do you feel when you're outside of your Toyota looking at your Toyota, do you still like your Toyota?
Oh, okay. Heidi,
Do you think it's beautiful?
Heidi, how do you feel when you're not in your... Yours a Mazda? How do you feel when you're not
Mazda.
in your Mazda? Better? Because it's not making so much noise? Feel a lot better.
Mine's seen better days.
I feel much safer when I'm not in my car. All right, we've got your scoop of the day on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. Around 600 marijuana plants were found growing at a daycare center in Connecticut. You thought I was going to say Colorado, didn't you? It was in Connecticut. That is kind of crazy.
Ditchweed, or were they growing them
they
there?
were
Like
growing.
in the.
It doesn't have all the details here, but I'm assuming that they were there for a reason. I don't know
Wow.
that. Tad Toy says it wants to become the number 2 social network, and with good reason. Tad Toy claims to be the first social messaging platform designed exclusively for the bathroom. Yeah. Mitch Roth, the app's co-founder, insists it's all for real. This is not a joke. The app, which is available for both platforms, iOS and Android, is designed to take advantage of your leisure time, if you will. Tad Toy is short for taking a dump thinking of you. What?
Oh my!
That is a
gosh.
thing? Yeah, I don't think I'll be downloading that app anytime
my
soon.
gosh.
And if somebody sends me a request to join that, don't think of me when you're doing that. Police in Pennsylvania stopped a weaving car. Was the man drunk? No. Was he texting? No. He was eating a giant sandwich with both hands. The man sitting in the passenger seat told the officer, "Sorry, but the weaving is my fault. I was steering while he was eating." What the? This is
You
really.
know what? You laugh, but we've done this.
I've never ever had to go 2 hands on a sandwich to eat. Grab the wheel. Grab the wheel. I'm going to dive in for another bite.
Yes, you have.
I don't believe that's ever happened.
You have.
I've eaten while driving.
What about
but-
those giant piled high roast beef sandwiches
Oh, I
that
love
are falling
those.
all over the place that you need 2 hands to eat?
No, I
I've watched
don't.
you.
I got big hands.
And then
I
I
can-
grab the steering wheel because I'm watching you. You're steering with your knee.
Would you stop it?
You are so hypocritical. You read these stories about these people and you laugh. Oh, they're so stupid.
Point it out next time I'm doing it because I don't remember this. By the way, join me next week for the John Show. She's not invited back. Nah, you're always invited back. Hey, she's my wife, by the way. For those of you that go, man, those two spend a lot of time together, don't they? Yeah.
See, now that's the nice thing about our show because other radio hosts can't call their co-host out on the BS because they don't see what they really do when they're
And they-
driving down the road.
And they wouldn't be back next week. Their job is to laugh at the stupid jokes. Heidi's over there going, that's not funny, and I'm calling you out on it. All right. A 7-year-old man robbed a bank so that he would no longer have to live with his wife. This is a serious thing. This actually happened.
I saw this on my newsfeed. He said going to jail is better than living with my wife.
He's like, I'm trying to get away from the ball and chain,
That's
so
awesome.
please hook me to a ball and chain.
Just divorce her, dude.
I don't understand why
would
he
you
would have
rather
done
be
what
in
he-
prison?
That is crazy. All right. Twitter now has emojis for every NFL team.
Okay.
They got to deal with the NFL for Thursday Night Football. If that didn't convince you that the social network was going all in on NFL, maybe this will. They announced custom hashtag emojis for every team. And if you'd like to see those and see what they look like, I've got them on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Woman on phone while driving was using it to listen to Quran to cure toothache. That's the headline. That was quite a
wow.
headline. In the Netherlands, a Muslim woman was fined for driving while using her phone. She claims she was using it to listen to the Quran to help cure her toothache. The driving violation was captured by a film crew shooting a documentary called Road Offenders. And she said, I had to listen because I had a toothache.
Well, then do that
So,
at home.
Speaking of toothaches,
I
for
thought they
those
weren't
of
supposed to drive.
I have no clue. I don't know how any of that stuff works. For those of you who have phobias, a pill might fix it. Our final story for the scoop of the day. Scientists have created a pill to treat phobias. Here's my only question on that. What if my fear is the fear of taking pills? Well, sorry, we can't help you.
I really don't like to take pills.
I
I'm
don't
one of those
either.
people. If they're big ones, I don't like to take them anyway.
Like a horse tranquilizer or
Yeah.
something.
Ugh.
All right, this has been your scoop of the day.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a special guest, actually a couple of special guests joining us. The month of September is actually a month, we've talked about this, it's National Recovery Month. And joining us on the phone, we have Dr. William Morrone. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you on the program. Also, David Humes, and David lost his son, Greg, to an accidental overdose at age 24. Sorry to hear that, Mr. Humes. How are you, sir?
Thank you. Please call me Dave.
Okay, Dave. Now, this month is something, this is a thing that I don't want to say we celebrate, but it's certainly a month where we are all aware of things like this that can happen. It's National Recovery Month. So we'll start with Dr. Morrone. There's been an increase, it seems, in deaths caused by opioid-related overdoses. Is there really an increase, or are we just having an increased awareness of these occurrences?
No, this is an actual, true, raw data increase. We follow these statistics through death certificates, and we know that we now have 3 times the heroin showing up in overdose death data, and that data wasn't there before. It wasn't there 3, 4, 5 years ago. Triple the heroin access.
And what do we attribute the increase to? Why is it more readily available now, or why is it that we're seeing such an increase?
It's more readily available through the heroin procurement markets, but what has also been happening is people who have been opioid dependent on pain medicine are actually transferring in difficult situations to heroin from pain medicine. And that's dangerous because the heroin is laced with fentanyl, and the fentanyl in the heroin makes the overdose happen more in the 2 to 3 minute window instead of the 15 to 30 minute window. And that's where the increase in fatalities are coming in the raw data.
Wow. And I see in the numbers here over 28,000 deaths annually, which is just a shocking number. That's over 80 overdoses a day. And David Humes is in the studio with us here as well, on the phone, but in the studio with Dr. William Morrone. Now, you lost your son at age 24. So again, like I said, very sorry to hear that. Tell us a little bit about what happened in that situation.
Well, my son Greg went through a progression of usage of illegal drugs that led him to heroin. He had been sober for 17 months, and he was doing everything right in his life. And one evening he ran into some of his old running mates, and he decided he could try to use one more time. And when he used with those people, unfortunately, he overdosed. And what they did was they picked him up, they put him in his own car, they drove him to a local hospital, and at that point they just parked the car and they got out of the car. They didn't hit the panic button on the key fob, they didn't honk the horn, they didn't knock on the door at the emergency ward, they didn't go a block away and call 911 and say, hey, look in your parking lot. By the time he was discovered in the lot, it was too late. They rushed him in and tried to save his life, but by that time he had died, unfortunately. In the aftermath of his death, talking to the investigative detective, he said to me these words I live with every day of my life. We had a 911 Good Samaritan law or a Narcan law. Your son might very well be alive today. And in the aftermath of his death, I decided the best way to advocate to keep his memory alive was to pursue getting Narcan into the hands of loved ones who may have somebody in use through changing legislation.
And again, really sorry to hear about that incident. That is really sad. Now, Dr. Morrone, for people who maybe have a child or a loved one or a brother, a sister, somebody in their life that has maybe had an experience with whether it's over-the-counter medications or a prescription medication, quite often that leads to, when they get this dependence, that leads to other drugs. What can they do to help them avoid that?
Well, the first thing you want to be able to do is get medical help. You can ask your pharmacist and your family doctor what kind of resources are available. If they're abusing opioids, whether it's pain medicine or illegal heroin, Narcan or naloxone family products should be available. You can ask the pharmacist for that, and they should be kept in the house, like any medicine, to reduce the risk of overdose right there, and then they can be treated right there. But that's just the treatment of overdose. Then they need to be sent for medication-assisted treatment and counseling as a total package to wean them off of those behaviors and substance use disorder.
If I'd like to find more information on Narcan, where can I find that?
You can ask your pharmacist. David?
Yeah, actually,
family members?
Yeah, you can go to the pharmacist and make sure you have the naloxone on hand in the event of overdose. You can always Google it, certainly, but if you go to, your family doctor, as Dr. Morrone said, or, again, particularly your pharmacist, I believe they have a standing order there, so it can be purchased over the counter.
Well, thank you both for taking some time to visit with us on the program today. I know this is something that's really near and dear to the hearts of both of you, and it is to me as well, and I want to do whatever we can to make sure we get this information out, so hopefully we can help to prevent incidents like what happened with Greg. And again, thank you very much, both of you, for taking time to chat with us.
Yeah, you're welcome for having us.
And again, our guest today, Dr. William Morrone, a board-certified pain physician. And you may have seen him. He's been on a lot of different programs. I've seen him on CNN. I've seen him all over the place. And also David Humes joined us today on the program as well. And we appreciate both of them chatting with us today. Again, remember, September is National Recovery Month. And we've got some information about all of this on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. When you join, you'll be giving them the set of numbers that you want them to play, and that's what they will play for you. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that's RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The more people use blue toothbrushes than red toothbrushes. I think we've actually talked about that
I
before.
think we have.
What color is my toothbrush?
Yours is blue,
Hey, there you go. What color's yours?
orange.
You could have said it was red.
It's a reddish orange.
Oh, there you go. Don't you dare come around to my way of thinking. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The hairless area of roughened skin at the tip of a bear's snout has a name.
What is it?
It is called the rhinarium.
Okay.
I don't know if I said that right, but either way, why do we need a name for that thing? The hairless area of roughened skin at the tip of a bear's snout. Why not just call it a
Because that
snout?
takes too long to say.
Yeah, well, just say it's the it's the snout.
But if you're talking about just that specific part of the snout.
For what reason? I hit him in that one spot. What did you hit him with? A very fine hammer? I mean, you smacked him in the whole snout, I'm sure. All right, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The junk mail that Americans receive in one day could produce enough energy to heat 250,000 homes.
Yeah, I don't doubt that one bit.
I think we've got a new energy policy right there. Bada bing. All right, thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business if it's done right. You can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Today we're going to talk about how to get out of a burning building alive.
All right.
Because this is the kind of thing we do on this program. It's kind of funny. I'll talk to people about the fact that we have the show, and they'll say, so what do you guys talk about on the radio? I never have a good answer for that. I'm like, we talk about stuff.
Just talk.
We try to avoid politics because that, people get polarized. Oh, you talk about sports? We don't know anything about sports, so we steer clear of sports. And like, so you don't talk about sports. You don't talk about politics. What do you talk about? I'm like, I don't really know. You do this show, right? You actually show up? I think so. Oh, yeah. You talk about the weather? We don't really talk about the weather. We have other people talk about the weather. You talk about the news? No, there's other people that do the news. What the heck do you do here? I'm like, I don't know. Just kind of hang out.
We just have fun
We
and drink
talk.
coffee.
It's fun. Anyway, this is the importance of today. We're going to talk about how to get out of a burning building alive. This could save your life, man. So pay attention. From the National Fire Protection Association, they say before a blaze happens, make sure you have smoke alarms in every bedroom because those things are there for a reason. They're to detect things before everything gets out of control. Also, this again is before. Establish a practice and an escape plan, including 2 ways out of every room, and make sure the people that sleep in those rooms know them. If you're staying in a hotel, before you go to sleep, take note of where the stairwells are. You probably rode up on the elevator, but make sure you know how to get out of there if you have to. And also install emergency release devices to any security bars on your windows. So like if you have things that are blocking so people can't get in, make sure there's a way to unblock them so you can get out. Now, if there is a fire, one tip number one is get low and stay low and go. Don't get low and just sit low. Get down on your hands and knees and crawl in the direction of the exit. Close all doors between you and the fire as soon as you leave. So if you leave a room, close the door because that'll actually slow the spread of the flames. If your body or clothes are on fire, immediately drop to the floor.
Stop, drop, and roll, Dick, roll.
Yeah, Dick Van Dyke taught us that when we were kids. I still remember it too. Call 911 from outside. The few seconds it takes to dial those digits could actually prevent you from exiting safely. Once you're safely outside, avoid the temptation to go back in for anything. I'm like, oh man, I had some coupons in there for a Big Mac.
You know what? That'd be the hardest part for me because
I know.
there's a lot of stuff once I got out, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah. If you're trapped, close doors between you and the flames, and it says call 911 to report your location. If you can't get out, if you've got a cell phone, call then and say, hey, I'm in here, and I'm in this building or this corner of the building. So there you go. Couple of tips right there. See, now I can tell people what we talk about on the radio.
There you go.
It's from the National Fire Protection Association. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Let's talk business. If you're in business, you need a website. Come on, it's 2016. Do you really think the internet thing is not going to catch on? Many business owners that don't have a website think it's just too expensive. Well, now it's not. You can actually build a website setup for less than $30 a month. If you need help designing it or just laying something out, we're here to help you. Get a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. You can actually build the site and see it online for free during this trial. So why not check it out at radiosavings.com.
You know, some stories are just so good that you smile when you even think about reading them. David Hayes, his granddaughter asked him to hold her rod and reel, and she went to use the restroom. While she was gone, Grandpapa, David, landed a state record catfish weighing 21 pounds and 1 ounce
With her little
on
tiny...
a Barbie rod and reel.
Funny. How cute is that?
And that's kind of funny. According to the Winston-Salem Journal, this August 5th catch has been certified as a record in the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. The fish was 32 inches long, and that is 2 inches longer than the Barbie rod and reel that he used to catch it on.
Oh my gosh,
so it was
that is so
the
funny.
fish was bigger than the rod
I
and
bet
reel.
that little girl was so disappointed.
Yeah, it would have been great. So, you know, I want to make sure you understand why I think that's such a funny story. It would have been great if she would have been there to catch it, but I don't know if she would have been able to reel it in anyway.
Sure.
But
yeah, that's true.
I just think it's
but
really
then
funny.
Grandpa could have helped her.
I think it's really funny that Grandpa caught, you know, state record.
Yes, that was picture taken in the paper with a Barbie rod.
Hey, David, didn't you catch that
Imagine
on a
the
Barbie?
razzing he got at coffee the next morning.
I just think that's hilarious. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
If you want to be able to torture anybody, anywhere, you need this product. It's a portable karaoke machine.
Oh.
Japanese.
I am not a fan of
I love karaoke.
You love it.
If it's done well.
I don't like to go to karaoke
Oh,
I don't like to listen to other people
I love
go up
to
and
sing.
karaoke.
I love to
don't
sing
like
karaoke.
to go
It's
sing
fun.
karaoke.
Well, the toy company from Japan, Taraka Tomy, has announced they'll be putting out a portable karaoke. So this is a portable machine you can take with you wherever. It's called the Hikara, Hi-Kara. It's about a 3-inch cube. So this is like a Rubik's Cube size device.
Sure.
Less than a pound is what it weighs. Once the singer selects a song, which can be downloaded from the internet or from a special music cartridge you plug in, the lyrics come up on a little digital display. The machine has headphones and a speaker attached.
Oh my gosh.
It'll run about $100, and it's aimed to youngsters who cannot go into karaoke clubs because they sell alcohol. Japan is the birthplace of karaoke, and it was name is karaoke.
Without orchestra.
Empty orchestra, yeah. Like karate is empty fist. Karaoke is empty orchestra. Pretty sure I nailed that linguistically.
I'm sure you did.
Probably not. I don't even get English right. How the heck do you expect me to get one of those other languages right? All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. See, there's my point. Thanks
Just so you know, you can't buy one of those machines.
I already have one. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We'll be back with more fun stuff coming up.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
When parents hear their 3 or 4-year-old struggle with stuttering, they can't help imagining that it's going to cause anxiety, especially when they enter preschool. There are probably some worries that they're going to be teased, might have trouble making friends, or be afraid to speak up. But a new Australian study published in the Journal of Pediatrics suggests that it's fairly common for preschool-aged children to stutter. And those that do tend to do just fine. So moms and dads, it's okay. They do really well emotionally and socially. It is important for parents to remember that stuttering is a neurological disorder. Experts say, you can't bark orders at a stuttering child to say, slow down or take a breath. That's not going to be helpful. Instead of telling them to slow down, for example, slow your own speech down. Children will follow suit. They do what you do. Remember when we were kids, monkey see, monkey do? Mm-hmm. You ever hear that when you were a kid? It wasn't just me?
No, I heard that.
Okay. I thought you looked familiar.
But I heard lots of things that you never heard.
Were you the monkey see or were you the monkey do?
I was usually the monkey do.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. Well, it says here, don't bombard your children with questions. Keep your full attention on the child when he or she is speaking, including eye contact. That'll help build their confidence with you can also, help build their confidence with very descriptive praise. All of this, experts point out, isn't just good for child stuttering. It's also good advice for dealing with any child. So they're saying, speak slowly, give them a lot of praise, let them know they're doing well, and a lot of this stuff is going to kind of work itself out. So there you go. I think that's pretty cool. And that came from down under, over there in Australia. So I never really thought about that, but there's people that probably stutter in every language. I had, I never even thought of that before. So there you go.
Sure. I wonder if dogs can stutter.
Maybe they do. I have no clue. That's a good question.
That is a good question.
All right. Coming up, we've got some good news. Printer could save someone's life. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is pretty good news. How could a printer save someone's life, Heidi?
How?
Doctors at a hospital in Gainesville, Florida, recently separated conjoined twin girls with the help of a printer.
All right.
A 3D printer. According to Yahoo News, or as your mother would say, Yahoo News. I think that's so funny.
Anyway.
The twins, Scarlett and Savannah, each had their own complete set of organs, but were attached at the liver and at the diaphragm and at the sternum and the heart. To help the doctors prepare for the risky procedure, they created what they believed to be the first ever 3D printed conjoined twin heart. The life-size model allowed surgeons to examine the twins' shared structures in the heart, and they had the opportunity to practice the surgical separation itself on this printed heart before they went and tackled the actual heart. That is really cool. I have a friend that was talking about the 3D printers and the things that they can do with those, and it's fascinating to me. I don't know if you remember one. We did an interview.
We certainly wouldn't have a practical use like that for a 3D printer.
Yeah, one in the office. What are you doing? 3D printing me a donut.
Yeah. I mean, it would just be such a waste of materials for
hey,
us.
Can you print up some more creamer? I'm all out of creamer. Is that how this works? I'm not sure how this works. What you need, you don't need a 3D printer. You need a convenience store. That's what you need. No, there are some very good practical uses, and I've seen a lot of people that have utilized them. It just amazes me the technology we have today and the things that you can do. And this right here is a great example.
I wonder if you could 3D print yourself a car if you did it one part at a time.
I bet you could.
And then put it together. But would it run?
Yeah, I think it would. I don't know. Here, once again, I
It's
don't
like plastic, right? So you
think
wouldn't
so.
be able to make the parts for the engine.
I don't know. I don't fully understand how this stuff works.
I really don't either.
Yeah,
It's all like fairy tale land to me.
it's like rocket science. We probably shouldn't talk about this because we sound like morons right now. Let's change the
Is
subject.
that different from any other day?
Let's change the subject to football.
Yeah, that's better.
We're sports morons. We know nothing. But we do know this. It's time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.